how do you connect a C64 to a modern day TV? So obviously Commodore 64, the 64C in my case is a 1985 model, and then you obviously got the breadbin model from 1982, so they're not really compatible with today's modern TVs, or probably TVs in general from the last 15 years. So the easiest, cheapest solution of doing this without having to modify the Commodore 64 itself is simply buying a couple of things. I'll leave the links in my description for what I'm using in this video. The first thing that I bought is one of these. Now you can buy these on eBay. This is from Retro Computer Shack, and I've used these many times in the past. They're very good quality cables. You're next up going to want to buy one of these AV2 HDMI conversion boxes, or RCA to HDMI. All you're going to need to do with this is just plug in the Retro Computer Shack cables into this box. And the RCA or AV2 HDMI also needs power. Mine actually came with USB just here, so on some TVs you're going to have USB ports. So the thing needs to be powered itself, so simply just plug this in and you're left with this. So this is going to plug into your TV. If your TV doesn't have USB, then you can actually buy one of those plugs where you can plug this into, and that's going to power it. So in the back of Commodore 64, obviously I'm using the 64C model, but also on breadbins as well. That's the Mark I traditional Commodore 64, I suppose. You got two outputs, so we got serial and we got video. So this Retro Computer Shack is going to go into the video output, and the conversion box is going to connect really easily into this really stylish pink framed TV I've got. So we've got USB ports on the side of this one. So everything's now connected, and obviously we're going to need an HDMI cable to go into the conversion box itself. And obviously the other end of the HDMI is then going to go into the back of the TV. So once everything's connected, we can then turn on the Commodore 64. And there we go, we can now use a Commodore 64. Fairly simple without modifying the Commodore 64 itself, which means pretty much devaluing what it's worth. Now on this HDMI box we've actually got 720p in 1080p, but to be honest with you, by switching this over to 1080p, there isn't really a great deal of difference. So just to make sure the sound and everything else is working with this conversion I've done, I'm actually going to type in some posts, which is going to generate us a sound test. And if I then run that, so yeah, it doesn't sound too great, but that's a real basic sound test, and as we can hear, we've actually got sound on that.